Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to be removing the rear subframe and getting it ready to get painted up, and I got to do some work on the fuel system up here. New fuel pump and new fuel pressure regulator. So we're going to take this out. So in order to take these out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the calipers off and let them hang. I got to remove that brake line and that brake line right there. And then what we're gonna do is I gotta remove these struts and then these 3 bolts, and hopefully that will be it, and I can just kind of lower this thing and get to start working on it. And the same thing on that side. So I'm gonna get to start working on that and be back there. Alright, we got the fuel pump out. All it was the 2 straps. They're held in by half-inch bolts, and there was just a couple wire harnesses and the fuel lines and the evap lines, and that was pretty much it. So now we're going to take the fuel pump out.
So what we're doing is we're installing an AEM high flow in-tank fuel pump.
Part number 50-1200. It's a 340 milliliter liter per hour pump at 40 psi.
So we already took the center unit apart, and now we just have to.
Okay, so we're putting it in the factory location. We got the hose coming up. We had to notch out this little piece to fit the hose clamp in there, and we took out this piece that went to the top of the pump, so that way the fuel hose can go straight up through it. That's the way we're going to run it, and we'll see if it works. Finished the fuel pump assembly, and we finally got it back in. We did test the pump. We put power to it and made sure that it worked. It seems to be okay, so we're gonna run it like that. it's been a while since the last time that we saw stuff, but that was just because I was kind of painting stuff and I didn't think it really was necessary to film that. But I ended up undercoating and cleaning everything underneath. I also routed my stainless steel fuel line back in. It actually does fit inside of the factory fuel line holder, which is actually really convenient. So yeah, so I undercoated everything, wanted to keep that rust out, you know. Right now the gas tank is getting cleaned. We had also, Brian had painted the subframe for us, so thank you very much for that, Brian. I appreciate you. I got my valve springs in. I already gave those to the machine shop, so hopefully within the next week we'll see those back. So the fuel reference fuel pressure regulator. In order to do it, the instructions say that you need to drop the tank and take out a spring and ball. Now I didn't know what they were talking about because it said something about a canister, so I thought that it was talking about the evap canister. It said remove the zip tie and the clips. Well, these have clips, but there's no zip ties, so I had taken that out. It was nothing. It turns out that it's actually in the fuel pump assembly. So what you have to do is when you take the fuel pump assembly out like we did, all you have to do is you go in there and there's a little like it's like a double squared plastic bit, and it's got like this red zip tie on it. Should be a red zip tie. You cut that off, you take it apart, and when you take it apart, you take out the check ball and spring, and that looks like, so you have to take out this tab. There's a little O-ring, and then the check ball down in there. So I had removed that and then put the tank back in with the fuel level assembly, all that 1 yards. Now I am going to be removing these brake lines because I went over to my parts car and I found a set of stainless lines. Now, yes, it's the only thing that's probably going to be reused, but they're working, they're good. They're stainless steel, so I couldn't really assume having that many issues with them. Besides that, yeah, I mean, all I really did yesterday was undercoat it, get everything ready for paint and stuff like that. We're kind of just waiting on parts to come in. I got to re-drill, I have to recut my slotted rotors in the rear because we are going to be reusing those too. I'm waiting for the rear calipers to come in. I have these are good, but since the fronts are new, I want the rears to be new. Personal preference. I mean, would these work? Of course, but you know, putting everything new, might as well make it new, right? Got the fuel filter installed. That's gonna come out like that, hold in. That's where the gas tank's gonna come in. And yeah, so like I said, also got to do the control arms. We got new control arm bushings for it right here, along with, sorry, it's kind of hard to do this from my hand, along with new ball joints that are greasable, which is going to be nice. Is it necessary again? Probably not, but I'm in here, I have it apart, I might as well do it. Hopefully what my plan is, ideally, is I'm going to be giving the subframe to Brian, and he's going to do the same great paint job as he did on the rear one on this, clean that up, whole 9 yards. I'm going to take the rack off because I do have steering rack spacers for it, because when you lower these, a lot of times what will happen is when you lower it, you lose the geometry, I guess, for the power steering, and you end up losing turning radius. So ZZ Performance makes these steering rack spacers, and it puts it maybe about a ½ an inch to an inch higher than what it would normally do. And what that does is it puts it at a perfect line, and then that will help your turning radius, you know, stay consistent. So we're gonna have to install those. I'm gonna take that sway bar and I'm gonna look tonight to see how much a new front sway bar is. I mean, I plan on drag racing the car, so I don't think it's gonna be that much of a difference, but it may help, it may not, I don't know. And besides that, I'll probably paint the steering knuckles, replace those wheel bearings. Those are getting replaced too. And I still got to take the engine over to the machine shop and have them mess with, they're gonna check the block, make sure that it's straight and stuff. I want to make sure. I got to take that transmission off and the clutch still. I still have a brand new transmission from General Motors that I'm going to be putting in this car. It's at home. I just figured that since we're not messing with it, there's no need to really clutter the shop with it. It's at my garage, so it'll stay there for a little while. And then we'll start installing all this stuff. So, you know, gaskets, I got all billet trans mounts and engine mounts. We got front mount intercooler, my BC coilovers. This is stuff for the fuel pressure regulator and, you know, all that good stuff. That's something that we're gonna have to work on probably in the next episode. Because the next episode, what we're probably going to be doing is we're probably going to be hopefully tomorrow, we'll be putting the gas tank in, getting that all plumbed up and back and looking pretty and all that. And then we will, hopefully after the gas tank's in, hopefully by then the wheel bearings will come in. We'll put the wheel bearings on the the rear subframe. We'll put that in. I put the stainless steel lines. That will be in an episode. We'll get those out. Hopefully this rear end will be complete. So then, hopefully the machine shop's done by the end of the week. If they're done by the end of the week, then that means that next week I will be hopefully putting the engine back together with the with everything, the coilovers, the big brake kit. I'll show step by step how to put the engine back together and timing it and all that. And hopefully we can get this back in. I do need to order one of the heater hoses because I did cut it. And the reason why I cut it is because on this entry-level turbo kit, ZZ Performance does include a new heater hose, but they do not include both of them. So one of them, I ended up cutting both because I couldn't get them off, but I need to get a new one, and ZZ Performance has a silicone one for like 30 bucks. So yes, I will have the extra one that's not being used for the turbo kit, but at least there'll be a matching silicone one. They're cheap enough. I think it's like 30 bucks or something like that. It's not too bad. And then we'll be going from there. I mean, clean up the wheel wells, clean up the arches, the fender covers, inner fender covers, sorry. And then we'll be putting the outside ones back in and doing all that good stuff. I also got to take this transmission mount out and that engine mount, because those are going to get replaced with billet aluminum ones. And guys, honestly, all the stuff that I have here, you can get on ZZ Performance. I mean, they have most of it. It's a great company. I recommend them to anyone who has a Cobalt, a 3800, even a Chevy Cruze, a Chevy Sonic. They have parts for those. They actually have the world's fastest Sonic right now, which is pretty cool. And I mean, they're honestly great. They've always been good to me. They've always treated me well. They ship stuff out very, very fast, even during this whole COVID BS that we're dealing with now. They're still coming through with us, and they're still staying open and, getting me the parts when I need them. Those valve springs, came to me in like 3 days. I think I ordered them Friday, which, it was over the weekend, and then they came to me today at like 11 o'clock this morning. So it's a great company. They're always there when you need them. Customer support at ZZ Performance is a good thing to check out. You can ask them any questions. They most likely will be happy to help you out. So yeah, so that's it for the video. Thank you guys, and have a great day. Thanks.